I'm Tim Elcombe, Assistant Professor of Kinesiology and Physical Education at Wilfrid Laurier University. My general area of research focuses on sociocultural aspects of human movement and sport, and I teach courses to our kinesiology students here related to ethics, history and philosophy, and general sociocultural aspects. In particular, my focus in research is on ethical issues in sport and how sport contributes to society both positively and negatively from a sociocultural perspective. In terms of the Olympic Games, the Olympics are the highest level or the intersection of sport and society that we see in a global context. So it's certainly of interest to me because one of the things that I look at and exploring right now is the idea of citizenship and how it relates to sport, and then how the ideas of citizenship within sport can relate back to society. So what I'm looking at is how can we take ideas about citizenship and apply them to use them to address some of the issues we face in sport. And if we use the process of citizenship, engagement, discussion, challenging ideas, investing, then if we have that in sport and we use that to cultivate better citizens within sport, does that then translate back out and create better societies? I've even looked at the idea of how sport can engage us as citizens, and I've actually used Don Cherry as an example of that, and I've looked at him both from a positive and a negative sense of contributing to democracy. I looked at how he engages us in conversations, important conversations about things like gender and violence and rights and fairness, and he uses sport, hockey, as a context for that. But at the same time, on the negative side, he does it in a way where he doesn't really want us to debate them, he just wants to tell us what the right thing is. So it's in some ways it's engaging us in citizenship behaviors, in other ways it's stopping it. But it's the idea that sport is an opportunity to get people talking, to look at issues that are much larger than just sport, and the Olympic Games are certainly the high point for that. Working now on some projects where we examine how do we address hard cases in sport, and these are the two best examples of this are accepted violence in collision sports. So these are really complicated ideas of we allow violence to happen, but where do we draw the line? And the other one is doping, which from a public perspective is maybe a really simple issue, which is it's wrong, but it's really a very complicated, multifaceted issue. So trying to determine how do we go about coming to some kind of working conclusions with these kinds of hard cases. And when we get the Olympic Games, we're going to be seeing a very different kind of hockey for the next 2 weeks, and that always ends up initiating debate about which is better, the NHL version, which has more accepted violence, versus the Olympic hockey. So that's of interest to me, is the debate that will ensue there, as well as doping issues. And certainly the Olympic Games, it's one of the things from an ethical perspective that certainly get highlighted. So at Sochi, whether it's watching the elite NHL players compete, the women's hockey, or whether it's watching athletes that we normally don't see, that one shot, I'm certainly excited about seeing.